Have you ever felt that your marketing is busy but not going anywhere? You are running ads, you're testing creatives, even learning new tools, but somehow it just feels random. The goalpost keeps moving and you just basically start over every month. I have started to notice this pattern, and most of these clients were not failing because they were not working hard. They were failing because they never built a real strategy. And that's why in this video, I'm going to show you the real reason why your marketing might feel like random. The difference between optimization and drift. And the most important part, what does a real professional digital media strategy looks like in practice? Let's first try to understand the symptoms of random marketing. You start running meta ads. At first, you just create a test campaign with limited budget and then take the winning creatives in a scaling campaign with higher budgets and ROAS targets. But then suddenly you watch a video on YouTube where the guru is saying, no, actually what works on Meta these days is one campaign structure. So you go ahead and you change everything. And next week you change the topic altogether. Now you feel like, okay, this doesn't make any difference. Maybe it's the ads. Then you see on YouTube somebody saying AI UGC videos are easy and they actually work. And then some other guy says, no, actually the ugly ads work on Meta. And then you go ahead and chase that and create ugly ads. And after a few months, you get exhausted. You just pause the Meta ads and you think it's not working. But within a month or two, you realize that now the sales have dropped. And you're like, no, Meta ads was working. Maybe I just needed to improve the ROAS. You go back, you resume the Meta ads, and then the loop continues. So this leads us to our next section, which is understanding the difference between optimization and drift. This is very important to understand because in a lot of cases, when you don't have a strategy, when you think you're optimizing, but actually what's happening is you are drifting. And there is a very big difference. Optimization means you change something for a reason. You have a hypothesis, you measure the result, then you learn something, and the next decision becomes easier. Drift is when you change things because someone suggested it. A new feature appeared, a case study looked impressive, or results dropped and you panicked. No hypothesis, no structure, no learning, just the movement. And the most dangerous part about drift is at that point, it looks like progress because you're busy, you're testing things, you're trying new ideas, but nothing compounds. And all of this at this point is based on emotions, and that destroys your confidence. But you might ask, so what does a real strategy look like? Strategy is clarity on some basic questions you need to know before you even start running the campaigns. The first pillar of your strategy is objective and unit economics. Before running any campaign, you need to answer a simple question. What is this campaign going to do for us? Is it going to generate sales? Is it going to generate leads? Is it going to position us in a certain way within our target audience? Or is it just going to keep us top of mind? It might look simple, but this is what dictates everything downstream. And then comes the economics part of it. If you're selling any product or service, you need to know these numbers. Once somebody purchases your product or service, what is your margin? At what ROAS are you break even? What is the break even cost for a new acquisition? What is the break even cost for a qualified lead? For example, for our self-learning membership module, our break-even cost is 109 dirham. And for our courses, roughly 1.05x ROAS is break-even for us. Next pillar of the strategy is audience. But this is where a lot of people make a mistake. As performance marketers, how you interpret audiences has dramatically changed. There was a time when audience meant demographics with a combination of interests and affinity. What audience now means is the situation. Here, I want to take a minute and talk about my best recommendation for an email automation tool, which is Omnisend. I've been using Omnisend for a few years now and recommend to all my clients who are starting with email automation and in certain cases who want to migrate to a better email automation tool to make the best use of this channel. The thing I personally like about Omnisend is it's very intuitive and user-friendly. Omnisend also connects to all major e-commerce platforms with just one click. And if you want to migrate to Omnisend, they have 24/7 support available to make the entire process a breeze. For customers who qualify for Customer Success Manager, personal onboarding and dedicated migration support are also available. With Omnisend, you get access to helpful blogs, webinars, case studies, and strategies to make you an expert in email automation. And there are tons of templates available in the platform for everything, which are customizable and ready to use. And you can get a complete free trial until you have 250 paying customers if you sign sign up using the link in the description below. You can also get a discount of 30% for first 3 months if you decide to go with a paid plan. What audience now means is the situation. For example, what is the problem someone is trying to solve now? What is the probability of somebody making up an impulse purchase worth $200? How do they react to urgency? What kind of awareness stage are they in? Do they know they have a problem? Do they know there is a solution? Do they know you as a brand? For example, in our old good days, our audience was people living in metropolitan cities, 18 to 34, 80% men, 20% women, interested in marketing. In 2026, our audience is anyone who wants to become a full stack marketer but is frustrated from course hopping and chasing small time tactics on YouTube and free resources. This leads us to the third pillar, and which is the most important among all the pillars in this strategy, which is the offer. And this is where a lot of business are still confused. I have seen some pro businessmen still confused because nowadays entrepreneurs have to think about the offer and marketing. A lot of people are confused between features and offer. They think features of their product and service is the offer. For example, our Done With You agency product, our offer is not that you get a weekly call with a PM lead and you get access to a community with like-minded businessmen. You get dedicated support to help you with your marketing guidance. These are features of our product, and customers don't buy deliverables. They buy the outcome. And if I have to define offer, it's a one-line promise which you can make what your product or service does. For our Done With You program, the offer is get a customized strategy and execution plan to run profitable campaigns. Because if your offer is clear, algorithms nowadays on Meta, Google have become so strong, they exactly know who your audience is. And it's super important to be clear with the offer because that is what dictates your creative, your media mix, your messaging, and everything downstream from here. And if your offer is weak, no amount of targeting, messaging, creative format is going to save it for you. So this leads us to our fourth pillar of our strategy, which is media mix and creative. There was a time when media mix used to be intent capturing. The first chunk goes to Google because there's highest intent, and then rest of the budget we decide where to take it. Because, for example, if you're selling a bag, but the offer you have is this is a bag for lifetime. This bag does not have design gimmicks. This has utility. And let's say it's a bit expensive. There's no way you're going to make it on Google Shopping, Google Search, on those channels anymore. Though there is a lot of intent, people are searching for bags. But you have to understand your offer needs to tell a story. So Meta is the first channel you should look at. Some people ask me, will this channel work for us? Channels don't work or fail. They align or do not align with your strategy. And when it comes to creative, don't sweat too much about creative because creative is not a decoration. It's just the translation of your offer. Creative is simply the delivery mechanism of your offer. When you're super clear with your offer, coming up with the creative becomes a no-brainer. And you need to consider all this user journey when you decide on the landing page because they all need to be in one sync. When you're clear with the offer, I'm just focusing too much on the offer, but when you're clear with the offer, your landing page, your creative, everything is just no-brainer. It's straightforward. And this leads us to our fifth pillar of our strategy, which is basically systems, AI, reporting and optimization rules. This is where a lot of people mess up. MarTech or marketing technology is very important. Sometimes I have seen in businesses, there's no problem in generating leads, very good cost per lead, but the conversion rate is low. And when we realize the business is like, the sales team is like, no man, we need good leads. What we realized for a lot of businesses is actually the lead quality was good, but the lead handling was not that good. Someone looking for a vacation, they fill a lead form, you call them next day, that guy has filled a lead form on your competitor's landing page, they called him and they already closed the deal. So it's not the lead quality, it's the marketing technology you are using. And the next thing in this section is AI. We are in an era that AI has to be a very integral part of your marketing technology, and you need to understand where you can be ahead of your competitors, how to be more efficient, how to be more faster, how to come up with more variations of the ad. Do not fall for a mistake a lot of businesses do, purchase license for ChatGPT or Gemini and then figure out what can I do with it. No, it has to be the other way around. These are the processes in our digital marketing flow, from showing impression to closing the business. What parts or tasks in this flow can be automated or made more efficient with AI. I started seeing a lot of agencies now when they interview guys, one of the important assessment is utilization of AI tools. This leads us to one very important point. Now that the strategy is clear to you, it's very easy for you to make rules for optimization. For example, in our case, we have a simple rule. If a creator spends 400 dirhams, it does not generate any sale. It's live for 6 days, which is past our conversion delay. We kill it. No thoughts, no emotions, or no coming back. Oh, this creative was good. Let's give it another chance. That's it. And a lot of people are like, no, man, you cannot set rules for optimization. There needs to be a human who decides case by case. No, that's not. I have worked with multi-million-dollar businesses and small businesses as well. You need to have rules for optimization. That's it. Overall, that's what works. Optimization has to be rule-based, because if you do it mood-based, the drift will again begin. We are also working on a course or a masterclass on these steps for strategy. Once it's complete, I'll put the link in the description below. And that's all for this video. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.